Hello and good evening, everyone. I am Anjali, co team member of EduHub community, and I'll be hosting this event on behalf of Azure Developer Community. I welcome you all on this brand new session on College to Cloud Fundamentals of Azure. This particular session is collaborating with Coding Community and Learn with Community along with EduHub community. Our community is open platform for all the students and developers. We believe in for the student by the student. So today we have our special guest Mr. Rahul Ambore. He's a Azure certified solution architect expert and trainer in Azure, become fastest UBS certified engineer. He has 11 years of total experience, with the last 7 years focused on working Azure DevOps and architecting cloud solutions to help enterprises build and rehost to the leverage Azure. So now I would like to invite our honorable guest, Mr. Rahul Ambore, sir. Also, I would like to request, sir, that it would be very helpful for us to hear about your experience in cloud so far. And please, sir, do enlighten us with some of your major achievements as well as your mistakes you'd never want your students to do. Please, sir.
All right, thank you. I hope you are all able to hear me. Can someone please confirm? Hello,
You are audible, sir. You are audible.
am I audible?
Yes, sir.
All right, and this you can see the screen.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
All right, thank you. Welcome you all to the session. My name is Rahul Ambore, and thank you, Anjali, for wonderful introduction. I am a solution architect for last couple of instances, and I'm also a solution. I'm also a certified trainer for Microsoft Azure. I also hold multiple other certification in IT, but last 7 years I am being in Azure. I will focus on Azure now, right? If you have any question after the session, you can connect on the LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn and Twitter handle. Uh, Without further delay, let's move on to the today's agenda. Before that, I just wanted to thank you all. Thank you for the community. Thank you for you all to joining on Sunday evening. Okay, let's move on to the agenda today. So what we have today is college to Azure cloud or college to cloud or college to get into the corporate world, right? How you can start your first job, what are the skills needed for you to get into your Azure journey, cloud journey, what are the key challenges that usually we face, right? And then how we can overcome all those things. We also have a quick demo for you guys, I just wanted to have a flavor of Azure subscription, what it looks like, what are the services you can build on, how you can get your hand dirty on the subscription models, and what are the requirement for those, right? And what are the pitfalls that you can avoid on the path to the cloud. So uh, I'm going to quickly brief about the cloud computing, all those five, six items here in 10 seconds of each. And then we'll go a deep dive on all the sessions. So that's the agenda for today. The session will be divided into two major parts. Initially, I will talk about all those agenda in a brief along with the demo. And then we'll take your questions. We'll open the floor for you guys to ask the question. Don't shy away for asking any question. No question is silly or small question. Please try to put into the chat, and then we'll take it at the end of the session. So that's what we're gonna do today. All right. So what is cloud computing, right? Cloud computing is nothing but the delivering services over the internet. So what are the services? You take an example of compute, memory, databases, network, softwares, right? Those all are the services. If someone is delivering to you over the internet, that is a cloud computing. We all are already using cloud computing for like decades. If you are using the Google Drive or Gmail or all most of the services, right, you are already into using some flavor of cloud computing. So we're gonna deep dive into the cloud computing models, types, and all those things. Second would be, once we understood what is cloud computing, we'll also talk about the cloud. What are the skills that needed for cloud? So in this talk, I'm going to also talk about how as a cloud as a college going student, right, as a initial guys, how they can start their journey. So that would be the intention for this discussion also. And then we're gonna quickly go about the subscription model, subscription tours. If you are students, how you can get into the get the subscription models initially for the working professionals or other people who would need a pan cards and credit card to get into the subscription models, even that is free. Those situation, most of the time students do not have those credit card and all those details, so how we can get without those. Yeah, and then we'll quickly go about the provisioning a demo, provisioning the VM. There are two ways we wanted to do it. I just wanted to give a flavor of like how we can go on a portal. That is the easiest way. But that would not be that is not how the people in the organization do the deployment. So we're gonna do some automation also. And then I'll quickly brief about uh, the career opportunities. Once we understood what is the cloud computing skills needed for cloud computing, and the subscriptions, and then the demo for the VMs. Yeah. What are the roles available for you to get into it? What is the certification that can enhance your chances getting into the cloud? So that's the agenda for today. Let's dive you into the cloud computing. So as you see, so at a very high level, right, at the 40,000 view, if you see, there are three models that you see in a cloud computing: IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So if you are using so just take an example, right? You just bought a new laptop and you wanted to view a PDF file, or you wanted to run some music or play some music, right? What you will do, you'll install some kind of applications like Adobe Audio, VLC player, or something, right, which is not pre-installed on your system. So what i- what in short, what you do, you host those application or you deploy those application on your laptop. Yeah. But as the need grows from a single laptop, and you become a big organization, right? The having your own infrastructure is not something that you can accommodate now. So that's where you need to have a VM or as services, which is available on demand, which is scalable, which is also cost effective. So that's where the as model will help you. Instead of you putting all those application on your laptop, you would rent a system from the cloud provider, and you will set up your application there and leverage the whatever requirement you have. So that's the as model. So pass model is something, uh, you so in as model, what you need to do, you need to create a VM, you need to provision the storage, you need to make sure that the internal rules for the VMs is intact, or the patching is intact, or security is intact, right? Most of the security is intact. So all those management overhead also you need to uh, bear for the as model. So that also comes with a much more greater responsibility. And then in the past model, what happens, you only ask cloud provider, hey, we wanted a database, or we have application, we wanted host, but underlying management we don't want to do. So in those situation, you will leverage the PaaS model, which is something platform as a service. And then a SaaS model that we all know generally, like Gmail, Google Drive, OneDrive, or in case of other service, even we when we browse to the portal.azure.com or AWS console, in short, what you are doing, you're interacting over the just a portal to obtain or get an all those services that you wanted to set up. So that's quickly about the cloud models. And then there are three types of, in general, types of cloud platform: the private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is something that most of the banking systems would use. They wanted to host their setup services on prem and then set up services on the cloud, just to make sure that they have some critical data or confidential data they wanted to put into the green zone, versus if they have something which is okay to set up on the public cloud for all other policies, purposes, and governance requirement, they will do that model, right? Also to extend their data centers at the Azure. So that's one of the use case for the hybrid cloud. Public cloud is also something, general public cloud, right, where you simply deploy all the services Private cloud is something you host all cloud services inside the your own data center. It is called the Azure has the same offering called Azure Stack. You can go and explore about it. What is Azure Stack? It is nothing but the flavor of a private cloud. So moving ahead, now I think we got a fair understanding about what is cloud, what are the models of the cloud, what are the types of the cloud. Yeah, and then there are major three four players in the cloud industry, and they have a major market share. If I name those, AWS from the Amazon, or Azure from the Microsoft world, or there is GCP from the Google world, and then there are a few more. Okay, but they have less market share, so I'll usually focus on these three four guys. So we know the cloud now. Let's get into the skills that we need. Skills usually we need is really not a big difference what you would usually do on the any on-prem or traditional data center world. There are slight differences how the cloud versus on-prem works. When you start your journey, just get out of the college, right? So what are the things that you need to know? Fundamental, definitely you all should need to know about cloud when you interact, or when you target your next or the first opportunity into the cloud. Or usually now most of these all those streams of opportunities, take an example of AI, ML, data science, machine learning, deep theme, or all those theme, right? All those flowing into the Azure, because they use their base as a compute, or they use their base as a cloud. No matter they use AWS or Azure, but they use the cloud. So uh, you really need to know the fundamentals of cloud, how the cloud works, the terminology of the cloud, data center, what really data center means, how the availability zones really means. Okay, the how the resource group models work, subscription models works, how the access management works. Yeah, so those are the very fundamental levels that you should know. And then if you wanted to go deep dive, um, you also need to understand how the OS level of things work, right? Linux, Windows, network security, and all those falls under the infrastructure tower of it. So if you targeting to infrastructure, you should know all those things, and from the management perspective and the deployment perspective. If you targeting the another tower called Deo, where you would really need to know the programming. I just written down the Python here, but any programming you need to know. Initially, I wouldn't say that you really need expert level of understanding, because cloud and programming or development is not really closely related. If you know any programming, most of the time it will work on a cloud also. It only the version that you are using, the older one, that only you need to change for some deployments, but most of the time it will work. So what I need to know is you need to have the programming. No matter you are into the fundamentals, infrastructure, or dev, I would say try to learn something about. You should have understanding. You should have a fair understanding about the programming. If you someone gives you instruction from the senior role, right? Someone says, hey, go and change those objects into something, or they says this pipeline has been broken, change the do the some changes. So you at least you should be able to follow the instructions. So I think that's what initially you need to know. um, so let's go into the demo, where we gonna deep dive to subscriptions, how you can log into subscription, what are the subscription models we would have as being a student, how you can get a subscription for you, and when you should get a subscription for you, and what is the validity of it, right? So if I switch to the Azure portal. All right, so this is the homepage of it. How you can go it, you can just type portal.azure.com. All right. um, you'll get landed to this homepage. Okay, it will ask you for credentials, and then you can get into the this portal. How do we you get this login ID, right? So if I just simply do a Google search, right? Azure for students, right? So here, Microsoft offers a variety of services, solutions for students. You can just go do a Google search, and you land it to this link. Just in high level, usually Microsoft will give you $100 credit for 12 months. You don't need to provide your credit cards or any other thing. Usually, what happens, they will ask you for a tie up with your college if you already have it, but do check if that really required. Most of the time, it is not. Um, they will ask you some kind of identification that you are a student, right? So otherwise, just to avoid any manipulation of this service. So usually these services, there are 25 plus services which is freely available even you run out of the $100 credit. Yeah, so there will be a 12 month of Azure subscription that you can get. After 12 months it will automatically disable, and if you wanted to extend it from the free subscription to a paid one, you can just go to provide the credit card or whatever payment method, and then you can make it from free to pay as you go. So that is also possible. So just coming back to our demo here, I just wanted to show this. This is how the subscription looks like. The VMs that I mentioned, right? When you get into this portal, you may not be able to see the same view that you are currently seeing. So if you wanted to do anything, you can just look into this global search, look for the Azure compute, then most of the computer services will list down, or just look for the Azure VM, and then Azure virtual machine related, it's like virtual machine, then virtual machine related services will come in and show it. So there is, this is the one way to navigate. There is another way to navigate, is you just go to the upper corner here and then look for and just try to um, click on create resources. Here there are so many categories defined. You wanted to go compute, blockchain, analytics, containers, databases, right? DevOps, identity, and then all those sort of things you'll be able to provision. So now for this demo, we gonna quickly create a virtual machines. Yeah, and then we'll also see how what are the component that we need in order to provision the virtual machine. So these are the very few things that anyone with the access to the service Azure subscription will get. So why I'm showing this, the intention behind is, until and unless you don't know this component what you are specifying here, right? So there are the multiple tabs, basic, this networking management, all those things, right? When you do this manually, you can automate it, and when you automate and something fails, something is updated, some API is updated, you know why this is updated. Otherwise you'll trouble a bit. So here initially you'll provide the subscription where you wanted to set up the VM, and then you'll give a resource group, so it can define the boundaries where you wanted to land. I have specified, I already created Azure AZ CLG, AZ College Cloud resource groups, and then I can also provide a name of the VM. So only thing you also need to ensure here, whatever virtual machine name that you are giving here, it cannot be renamed once it is provisioned. So you need to be creative, you need to take a decision when you work in an organization, that the naming convention you should follow for whatever the naming convention your organization has. So most of the all the organization has their naming convention, how they name their services or resources in Azure or anywhere. That's where, and then it comes to the so this is, if you know the fundamentals of cloud, right, you would understand what this really means. So Azure has their data center in so many locations, so you, based on your location, you would select the based on your requirement or your user base, you select the location of it. So by default it took the East US 2 because I created this resource group in a East US 2. Even though that's not a requirement, you can create in a different region as well. So Coming down here, here you will specify all the flavor of the operating systems that you have, and then you'll select the size of the VM, and then I'll just create the credentials. So Azure admin is the username, and then my super secret password. This again. All right, and then moving to the next. So as it will come default with the OS disk, and then it up to you if you need to have additional data disk to your VM. So and then in this tab you will specify the networking component, how the networking, what is the subnet, what is the IP address, and all those things. It is needed. So for now, I'm making it sure that it is just a default. Moving to the next tab, it is asking me whether I wanted to enable the monitoring. Just for the demo, I'm just skipping it. This is also a good feature of Microsoft. If you wanted to set up the auto shutdown, most of the time we do not leverage the VM for 24 hours, right? So at the off hours, we can specify if you wanted to stop the VM. So that way we save some dollars there. So and then this is the tax. Most of the organization has the policy that you cannot provision resources without the tax. Tags are something that who owns what is the who owns this VM, their email address, and then there is another tag that you can add saying who which group or which department owns this group, what is the purpose of this VM, and it is temporary or what. And then you can go to the review and you can create the VM. So it will quickly validate whatever the input that we have given, and then it will provision a VM for you. um, as it is creating a VM, I think you might have noticed that it took almost 4 to 5 minutes for me to come to this process, right? And then again, I need to engage while this I provide the inputs, and then deployment is happening. So if you see, the time taken will will be shown here, but for me to provide the input, it took 5 to 7 minutes, right? So this is not a scalable option, right? How we can do it, how we can automate this. So the same thing, while this VM is provisioning, I'll show you another way to make it a little bit of quick. So I open my command prompt here, and then I logged in to the Azure. I can just do a easy login, and then once I hit enter, it will open a browser. I put the code which is generated in the session, and then it will allow me to show up the login. I already logged in, so I will not do that again. So um, to provision the VM, I have copied one content. I'll show you what does that really means. But what we are doing in short here is we are just simply trying to deploy the VM using the Azure CLI. Uh, so there are multiple ways you can interact with the Azure portal, Azure ARM. You can use the Azure CLI, you can use the PowerShell, you can use the Python, and there is multiple more options that is available for you to interact. The first option that we saw is just a portal option, which is a GUI based, right? And then as you see, the VM is created, and then now if I just hit enter here, what so this if you see this AC group deployment is just a command, and then it says create a resource, create in this resource groups, and this is the value. This is the actually template, or this is JSON. I'll show you what this really is. So before hitting it enter, I'll show you. So any deployment that you do in Azure, it generates some templates, generates some JSON outputs. So this is nothing but the JSON. This is nothing but the code that goes behind deploying the VM. So same thing I'm doing. This code is into the GitHub, and I'm just hitting enter. So what it will do, it will create a one more VM. It is asking me for again Azure admin super secret password. All right. So As you see, it only asks me for two inputs, and I just provided the one simple commands, and I'm doing nothing. So and this is again, I don't need to provide anything. It started running, started deploying, right? Everything that is really needed for this to happen, I coded into the templates. So that's how you can automate. That's the second way of automation. There is another way you can do it using the CI/CD model. So it's same code that is there onto the GitHub, you can put into the Jenkins or Azure DevOps or any CI/CD pipeline, and then you can do it automatically, and then or you can schedule it. So that's the another way of doing it. If I go back to this, so I think this is what at least you should get familiar with. First, before you go and directly ask for a subscription or get a subscription, understand the fundamentals. Understand where the subscription, what are the subscription models are, what are your goals are, right? Otherwise, cloud, so I think cloud is very huge, and I think you need to target a little bit of what is your key areas, or what is your interest of learning, right? What I wanted to show you here is, if I just do I should learn, and then I'll show um, what are the options, or what are the this one, what are the roles are available for cloud, and then what are the okay. So if you go on this path and look for the all the learning path that you have, so you can go and you can combine a couple of filters here and define that what you wanted to learn, what is your target area, right? If you wanted to target to the admin role or AI age engineer, or you wanted to go to the data science or data engineer, or all those things. So according to that, it will show you the modules that you can target. So initially what used to happen, you have so much of content over the internet, and then you get struggle, or you lose the focus at what you wanted to follow, what you don't want to follow. So it is easier way, I would recommend, just before getting your subscription, right, try to get into this, go ahead and look for subscription, the models for you. What is your what is your requirement, what is your target. Initially I would say, and go for the fundamentals, such as fundamentals for everyone, no matter which stream you want to target, data science, machine learning, or whatever. Understand the fundamentals concept, understand the models here, just get familiar with this portal a bit. And then once you have understanding about the fundamentals, then go for the then register for the Azure subscription for students, and then that way you will be able to make most of out of the subscription values. Otherwise, you lose that credit, or and you'll end up the getting into the 12 month will be over, and you'll not get most of the subscription. So that's what I wanted to show. Coming back to the presentation now. All right. So now what we covered is, what is cloud, what are the skills that we need to know, and then we just gone through the quick demo about provisioning the VMs two ways, either portal way and then the CLI way, right? And there is many more. So when you get into the cloud, or when someone start the journey on a cloud, right, what they need to know is fundamentals. They need to know the skills, they need to know, they need to get their subscription initially, just to understand what are the things they should be doing. Before getting into the career opportunities, right, I also get a I mostly get a question saying, I'm a fresher, I just got out of the college, how should I get into the cloud, right? What I would really encourage everyone to start building a projects. What mean by projects, right? Again, create your LinkedIn profile, create your Naukri profile, create your GitHub profile, have a get around the Git concept, how the Git works, GitHub, what is the GitHub, Git actions and all those things. The one that I show you right now, right? See how you can provision the VM using the portal first, and then try to see how we can automate all those things, right? And try to push all those changes to your repository. Yeah, so that way also you get to know the flow of how we can push the code and all those things. So that's a very high level examples, but I get to know those. And once you all done all those things, right, start blocking around it, whatever way. No rush, no strict that your blog has to be accurate. Initially don't worry about publishing if you are if you're not sure, but go ahead and block it, write it, and keep it into your post. Use Medium, use LinkedIn articles or whatever, and then start publishing it. So what will happen, you'll get noticed to the people, and then people will start acknowledging your work. And then when there is any opportunity, you will be the first one to get alert about it, or people will reach out to you instead, only the one way you reach out to the people. To start contributing to the community. Same thing here, in a Azure developer community or any other community that you are interested in. So that's what the initial first half of the session, right? What is cloud, how to get into the cloud, what are the skill that is needed for the cloud, and when what you should do when you just out of your college. The next thing is, once you know the fundamentals and all those things, what are the roles available for you to jump in, right? What are the career opportunities for us in the cloud? So initially, I would say I would target again these opportunities into the three main towers: cloud operations or admin, cloud DevSecOps, and then architect. So initially, the people who would build the cloud. Yeah, they will build the infrastructure, they will build the policies, they will build the infrastructure, resource models, and all those things will fall into the admin roles. So management of cloud, creating the VMs, creating a deployment of the VM, automating the VM deployment, or supporting the developer team to deploy their releases in a production. Okay, so all those things, monitoring, all those falls into in generally falls into the first tower. DevSecOps is a much more bigger role. I would say most of the other development, data scientist or AIML or cloud developers, all will fall into this middle tier. So this is something very broad opportunity, or broad role. It also falls. There is a huge demand for DevOps now, so that is also falls into the same thing. And then at last, it would be a designing the cloud, right? The architect team who would define how we want to do these things. The first hour will do the things, and that will help develop the solution for the cloud, and then the third role would design the cloud for, right? What does the skeleton of your solution look like? What is the security area of your infrastructure or cloud footprint should look like? All those things falls under the architect role. Moving to the last section of the day, is cloud certification. Again, very close to my heart. I'm very much interested into this certification, uh, which Azure provides. It As I already showed you, the modules, right, which you can just go and Google Azure Learn, and then filter the role that you are interested in. So it start with the fundamentals. If I wanted to show you here, this is the high level roadmap for any journey that you wanted to get into it. So initially, so this one that you see, the middle one, Azure fundamentals. No matter of which role you are targeting, what is your interest area, get into the AZ 900, AZ dash 900. That's the exam number. That will broaden your understanding about the cloud, and then you can try to switch to other stream of the cloud. You wanted to go into the AI, or you wanted to go into the data, you wanted to go in the security, identity management, or many other stream that you have. So, but broadly three that I wanted to show up here. Once you get into the first one, and then you go to the either of AI or data Azure data fundamentals, and then there is a roadmap you can target to. If you wanted to go into Azure fundamentals and go to the Azure admin or Azure developer, or Azure database administration. So, and then at the last, as a last, we have the solution architect or DevOps expert as a fourth layer of certification. So this is very high level. What are the certifications available? You can target any of the stream. So that's very brief about the discussions today. What we have covered is Azure, what is cloud, what are the skills we needed for cloud, how we can get started into the cloud, what are the certification, quick demo around the VMs, right? And then as a fresher, how you can get into the cloud. The other quick question that I also get most of the time is how the cloud helps to leverage how the cloud enables the AI or machine learning or artificial intelligence, right? So these are all the new stream of new stream. These are the new all requirement, right? So cloud will help you to cloud enables you to deliver all those services, or it enables the AI or machine learning, because anyway whatever you use, right, it needs some kind of compute or other services. So Azure has many other services for the machine learnings, or if you have a data science requirement, Azure has a GPU core VMs, which will help you to do a batch processing for very huge batch processing. It has Azure Search and many more. I think once you get your subscription, you will be able to explore it in details. So that's for today. If any question, do let me know. Over to you, Anjali.
Thank you, Rahul. It was a great session. Let me see if there is any question from the audience side.
Thank you, sir, so much for experience you have shared and your valuable time you have spent and making us learn something new in this tech field. There is an icebreaker information for you all that there is a link in the comment section of Azure developer community for participating in quiz today at 9 p.m. There will be a lot of swags by Microsoft. So guys, do participate. And is there any questions regarding all this today? You
I
can.
think no question is there for Rahul sir. Thank you, Rahul sir. You have explained about the Azure from very basics. That was great, and students are saying thank you to you. Thanks to be here
Thank you so
with
much.
us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And guys,
So everyone,
all the doubt related to the certification vouchers, we'll update that on our Discord channel, and you can have the interaction with Saitya and Anjali as well after the session as well. Okay, so all the things we will update it on our Discord channel, Azure Developer Community Discord channel. Please join that channel. We'll discuss all the things over here. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Saitya, and thank you, Ado, for the session.